Hello everyone, DonTheCrown here with a quick video talking about the new league mechanic for Settlers of Kalguur. And this is basically the town that you're going to be building up in this particular league mechanic, and you get access to this place called King's March just by clicking on this little icon here at any waypoint once you've unlocked it. And you can also do /King's March when you're in town or your stronghold, and it will just teleport you there as well. You can set this up on a macro if you like. And pretty much what this is all about is building up the town, getting resources and turning them into more better stuff. And so the heart of this particular town is right here in the tavern. It has 3 NPCs. First guy, Faustus the financier, has 3 things you can do with him. 1, you can respec your passives for gold. If you talk to him here and say this, you can also do this in your stronghold. There's the currency exchange, which allows you to look for currency deals. If you control click him, this menu will pop up as well. And lastly, there is the black market that you can unlock as you level up. This allows you to gamble on particular things, kind of like Diablo 2. Johan over here is basically the quest giver, kind of tells you like how to progress through the town, kind of just follow his quests. He will give you gold rewards for doing the stuff that he wants you to do, which is pretty good and pretty helpful. If you control click him, it'll pull up the little menu here that we'll talk about very shortly. This allows you to manage everything, but you do need to be in King's March to make any notable changes. Lastly, we have Ralph, the recruiter. This guy is pretty much the lifeblood of getting people in or out of the town. Allows you to hire workers. We can reroll to get new guys, and we can also fire people here. And this is where you fire them. And you can fire idle guys, or you can fire anybody at all, just to release them. Now note, if a worker is idling, you're not really paying them, so there's no real reason to get rid of them unless you are running out of space in the town. Now next to them is town improvements. This is basically the thing that is going to allow you to do all of the stuff in here. All of the things that all of the different mechanics unlock based off your progress with the recruitment here. So I highly recommend, this is pretty much my strategy, was to rush this as fast as possible. It kind of appears that rank 10 is kind of the soft cap for this. So each rank typically gives you either more population, the ability to recruit more people at a time, like a more list of people, unlocks the mechanic. So you don't start off with like mining and farming, I believe, and then you get like shipping, smelting, all the different stuff unlocks as you level up here. And it also unlocks Faustus, the black market down there, which allows you to gamble for items. Now, lastly, each time you rank it up, it makes it so that the max rank of the people you're recruiting goes up as well. And people that you recruit, they are better at certain jobs. So we can see here that this particular dude is a mapper and a farmer. And so if I put them into the mapping job, they would be way more effective, like significantly more effective than somebody that was not a mapper. Now, one thing to note here is they do have a cost and they have a wage, and this can kind of vary depending on a whole bunch of different stuff. And one of the things that it seems to be is that the more things they're good at, the more expensive they're going to be. So you kind of want to keep an eye out for that. But there's also going to be some guys that are identical, but it'd be cheaper. So we can see here that we have Quentin DeVere. They are a rank 3 miner I got a long time ago. They have a wage of 29 per hour, but then we have Otto Jaegers here, who is only 20 per hour, and he's also a miner for 3. So, kind of keep an eye out for things like that. There's definitely been some that are very expensive, like this guy is 16.29 per hour. This is quite a bit of gold, but getting the right guys into the right job does help out pretty big. Now, when you first start doing the stuff here in the town, you're going to unlock mining right away. I was a little bit confused about this because I just thought they were just going to mine my mine all day. But you are basically in the job of the scouter for the mines. So pretty much as you're running around out in the world or in maps, you're going to find these little nodes that you can click on. Typically you have to fight off a whole bunch of monsters. And this allows you to pretty much mark it so that they can mine it. So you can see here, you have mined ore. So this is like what's in your storage box here, and then what they still have to mine. And so filling up this box is all you. So if you aren't out there, running maps, running through the world, This is all going to be all zeros, and they're going to mine it all up, which is kind of a good thing. Now, as you build out your mine, you're pretty much going to unlock more and more slots as you get the ability to mine nicer and nicer ore. But don't really worry about having to sort them all or have to kind of like manage this, because if they run out of ore to work on, they will go and help out whichever one's the rarest one here. So for example, we have a little bit of Verisum here still left, about 80. I'm going to put a dude here in the first slot here for Crimson Iron. And you can see he's working hard here, but there's nothing going on. And that's because all of his effort is now going down here in Verisum. And so he'll complete this in 11 minutes. And if I took this guy out, Peter Sorby, and put him in here, you can see, pretty much the same amount of time. The higher rating things does take more effort to get through, but you can just stack them all up in one slot if you really want. You can just load them all up, and this will go a lot faster. And yeah, so that's typically what I kind of do. I don't really want to manage it all that much. Now, if there's one of these things that I really need way more than others, I'll like load all the guys in there as well. But it doesn't really matter kind of where you put them for the most part. Now, once they have mined the ore, they're going to come over here to the smelter. Now, what the smelter does is basically turns the raw ore into bars. And these bars are typically used to upgrade stuff in the town, and is like a way more expensive product when you want to ship it out. And so you also kind of want to do this. As you can see here, I kind of have like a nice wide spread of these, mostly because our ore stacks are getting pretty high here. I just kind of want to like break them down and kind of even piles. And for the most part, yeah, it's getting pretty up there. So like, for example, the Crimson Iron ore is going to take over 24 hours just to get through what I have right now today, assuming that I don't play anymore. So that's quite a bit. I'm looking to upgrade the smelter next, and you can just do any sort of the upgrading just by walking up to that bench. There'll be like a little hammer here. I can see all the things I need. If I hover over it, it'll tell me the name as well. Gold is typically going to be the thing that's holding you back the most. And so you want to do whatever you can do to get as much gold as possible without blowing it on, spending too much on some things. Like one of the things I spent a lot of money on was, gambling in the black market for some random claws, because I had a terrible claw. And I should have spent like 10 chaos on a claw and then saved all that gold instead. So yeah, you mine you go out in the world, you tag mining nodes for the miners mine it, then they smelt it, and the next step kind of is shipping. So shipping and mapping are kind of the two end nodes where you're going to be pulling in resources. And so for shipping, what you're going to be doing is sending out a boat, or there's several boats that you can unlock. As you level this up, you're going to unlock the ability to send your ship out to more places. You're going to get a bigger total crew and more ships, and that's going to make them faster. And so what we're going to do here is typically when you look at this menu, you'll see select port. So I can see the first ship here. I have the Sea Valor. I only have 4 people in it, and I'll select the port. And this gives me the option to select different things. And if you hover over it, you'll see the goods that they're looking for. Now, for some reason, it doesn't really show you what goods you have to offer them. So you kind of have to just like figure it out. But I know that I have pumpkins now. You might notice that all of these require pumpkins. And the reason why that is because I was farming only one particular thing. And it was not pumpkins at that time. So what I can do is I can go and set this up. Next thing I need to do is put this shipment here. Now I can put like 330 pumpkins here. That's a little bit overkill. So we can do the math real quick. 258 pumpkins. And as you can see here, this sets my shipment value to 4,000. This pretty much indicates like how valuable the shipment is, kind of gives you expectations for returns. And also the more valuable it gets, the higher the risk that something bad is going to happen. Now, one of the things to note is that the magic powder here that we're going to get, which we'll talk about in a second from disenchanting, doesn't really give you any value on its own. Like I can put all 150,000 of it into the box. It has 0 shipment value. But if I go back and I put all of the pumpkins back in, and I put, 10, it's almost matching all of the pumpkins. So typically what I do is I put about 1,000 powder in with all of the shipments, and that's good to go. And right now, like the shipments have kind of been like very hit or miss. The real thing that I'm looking for out of here is the runes. The runes are used over on the rune smithing table, and these allow you to basically enchant an item above its implicit with extra stats. And these are all going to be weapons. There's some really interesting options here. So for example, I'm kind of interested in the trigger lightning bolt when you deal a critical strike, but I believe that there is a burning enemies you kill have a 10% chance to explode, dealing 1/10 of their maximum life as fire damage. You get this on swords, axes, maces. I think that's war stave, staff and war staves, and bows. So that could be pretty interesting for sure. Explosion, and this is relatively cheap. It's probably about 18 chaos to get explode on a weapon. It's pretty good. And like I said, this just goes on the enchant, so this isn't replacing your implicit. This isn't messing up your prefix and suffix. This is just kind of extra. Shields cannot be enchanted, unfortunately. Now, I did mention 2 other of the benches so far. So the first one is farming. So farming pretty much is these farming plots, and it is kind of similar to mining, but it is a little bit different in that you're just going to pick whichever plant you want to farm, and it will just start growing it, right? Now, each plot has different people that can be assigned to it. You're looking to put people that have the farming thing on there. Right now, I just don't have enough farmers, and I have a ton of miners for some reason. So, yeah, just put in whoever I can. Even these guys are not all that great. Now, to show you real quick something, as you can see here, we're generating 25 of this blue xanthemum per hour. If I take out this guy here, who is just a 2 miner, you can see we lose 7. But if I put him back in and take out this level 1 farmer, we go down 13. So that level 1 farmer is basically doing 50% of the work. And I do have some higher level farmers, so like rank 7 here, 307 to 114. So yeah, getting the right guys for the right job is pretty important. This is mostly used to upgrade stuff. So if we look once again at the tavern, you'll notice that I need ore gourds, blue xanthemums, and wheat. And that is pretty much what we're growing right now. Might go grow some more wheat, but those are the things that I need in order to progress overall. Now, let's go say hi to Rog here real quick. He's the disenchanter. And what you're going to do is you're going to put identified items into his little workbench here, and he is going to go and break them apart to make you some magical fun powder. And this magical powder is used for shipping, as we just saw. It's also used for another crafting system that I'll show you in a second here. And you just throw any old rare stuff in here that you don't want to use. Highly recommend probably not throwing in amulets or rings, because you can just use those for chaos recipe. But I just try to keep this full for the most part. When the ship does come back, very frequently it will have identified rare gear. And so you can just take all of it and just throw it into Rog's box here and be good to go. He does use disenchanting people, and this does make this a lot faster. As you can see, it's about 3 hours till we're done. If I take him out, 5 hours and a half. So you do want to make sure that you have good people in for this job as well. Now, the thing that those are used for, the magical dust, is recombinating. Now, I personally haven't done this particular mechanic like ever, but from what I understand, it is combining, well, you have 2 weapons, combining like 2 of the same things, like 2 weapons, 2 armors, and then that has, each one has a good mod that you want to keep. And so you smash them together, just hope to get lucky. This does cost gold, and it does cost magic powder. And as you unlock and upgrade the recombinating table, it's going to allow you to do more things. So right now I can only do weapons. I'm assuming armor, jewelry, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, we'll see like what are all the different options here. This is definitely kind of the end game crafting thing here for you. Now, lastly, the last bench is actually a map device. And so what this allows you to do is send other people out to do the mapping for you, and they'll give you some rewards. As you can see here, I set the guys out and they did a tier 3 map. They did 66% map completion, and I got a little bit of loot. And then here's another one where they got 14% done because I canceled it for the video, and they got me 1 ring. Now, personally, I am not going to be running mapping anymore, simply because these guys are so expensive. Sorry about that. And so as we can see here, if I hover over this, these guys are going to cost 1,800 gold per hour just to run through my maps. And for the most part, these guys are kind of useless right now. So even though we have a rank 6, a rank 6, a rank 5, and a rank 4, if I send them on a tier 3 blue map, they have a 1% chance to be permanently killed, which is kind of a little bit scary. But then on top of that, if I sent them on the top map they can do, which is a tier 10, this is just a plain white one, it's a 19%. So if I filled out this entire thing with like rare versions of this, these guys are going to die, right? In droves. In droves, these guys will die because it's a 27% chance. There's no shot they're going to get all the way through this. And as they die, the difficulty of these maps will go up. So 27, if I remove 2 of these guys, now it's 46% chance. So typically if you fill this whole thing up with difficult maps, you're going to come back and all of your mappers will be dead. And that is kind of a problem because finding good units and then losing them is really, really bad, especially at endgame. Because if we go over to the recruiter, you see it's going to cost me 2,500 gold just to spin this wheel to look for more people. Now I do get 7 total people. I did buy some of the guys out here, but yeah, you really don't want to be spending money to re-roll and then, you know, buy them out. And so I'm not really sure how good mapping is going to be until I upgrade a little bit more. Each upgrade does give you some benefits. So I start off only be able to run white maps. You can get into yellow maps, have more portals. Apparently there's probably be more map devices, faster speed. And so maybe this will eventually be good. Maybe this will be a way to just burn through white maps, but I'm not particularly sold on this just yet. This is probably the last thing that I would recommend kind of working on. But yeah, that's pretty much all of the different benches. One other thing I do want to mention, if you're like here in town, you can just press V, which will pull up this menu, which is the town resources. And so we can see all of our ore, we can see all the different stuff. But most importantly, we can see our treasury, and we can add gold to the treasury if we have it on us. We can also take gold out or, you know, add it back in. And the treasury is used to pay the salary of all the workers. Now, if people are idle, they do not get paid. If they're not doing any work, they don't get paid. The miners will probably, like, as soon as all of this ore is gone, they'll all go idle and there won't be anything for them to do anymore. And so, you know, we won't be paying all these guys. Likewise, the smelters are probably going to be busy for, you know, the rest of the game because there's just so much to smelt. But, you know, this is kind of something you want to keep your eye on. You don't necessarily want to have your wages too high. Like if I went and flipped mapping back on here, the price of what's going on goes way up. And so they're just going to burn through my money quickly. And, yeah, just not really worth doing in my personal opinion. And if you like cancel out on the map, it's just going to burn the map. So pretty kind of scary. Other thing you want to know is if you walk up to Johan in your hideout, you'll be able to control click and open this up, or you'll just be able to click on manage town up here. You will be able to add gold to your treasury, but you will not be able to really edit anything at all unless you're in King's March. One thing I kind of wish that they would give you is some sort of like flag over here that allows you to just click on it and see how long your treasury is to be empty, or like the status of ships coming in. Because you'll see like a little thing come by that says this ship has come in with your shipment. And like they'll also tell you when maps are completed, but there's no real way to kind of like query that information. So if you're doing a boss fight or something like that, you know, you could miss that your ship has come in and like, you know, have a little bit of downtime there, which can be kind of annoying. But yeah, that's pretty much the whole mechanics, everything. Highly recommend going and getting all the gold that you possibly can do. And the best way I've noticed to get gold is to kill native monsters to your map. So things like breach and other things that normally add mobs that are typically kind of good. These don't appear to drop gold very much. However, things that are just native to the map can be, giving you quite a bit of gold. One thing I found that kind of worked pretty nicely is actually running at Ziri, because the entire dungeon is just chock full of magic and rare monsters, and they drop, coins, a lot of coins. It's not like insane compared to like running tier 16s, but especially if you're kind of just getting started in the season, you're going to, get a lot of gold from this. Hopefully this video helped you out. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. We'll see you next time.